All right, everyone, welcome back. Today we will be discussing Venus in the sign of Virgo. But before I do, we must understand, what does Venus represent? So here I have a list of several things you can definitely find through your Venus placement. So starting off with attraction, what is something about you that people absolutely gravitate towards? Imagine having a perfume or cologne that's bottled up by what makes you specifically attractive. And it's just the same for what we are attracted to. And this isn't just exclusive to other people. Think soft beds, the finest linens, ocean views, comfort through tangible things, confidence or lack of confidence. To give you an example, Venus displays if we love to share our intellect but shy away from being center stage. Things that can make us feel uncomfortable, this can be seen through Venus. Money. Now, there are multiple ways to distinguish wealth or income or gains, but Venus guides you to your natural profession or your calling, meaning you could be exceptionally successful at this particular hobby or skill, which seems like you were born to do it. Venus also shows us how we like to spend on our comfort or things we like. An example, if you're highly into astrology, more than likely you've purchased multiple books, especially ones that go into great detail, because Venus is all about the details. The details like how we pay for things, the money we like to carry with us, the high profile credit cards with high limits, a wallet full of cash, or maybe no cash. Venus is always explained as a planet that likes luxuries and things with a high price tag. That can be true, but there are many things that look expensive, but it's actually very cheap or of poor quality. Venus represents things of value or of quality. And this leads me into the wife. In a men's chart, Venus represents the wife in the qualities that she has. She can be graceful, a very nice dresser, or even highly successful or a social butterfly. This can all be seen through Venus. Happiness. Our sensuality is something that could be seen very well through Venus. How alluring do we feel when it comes to the opposite sex? Or do we like to skip over intimacy and get right to the physical act? Our seductiveness can definitely be seen through Venus. Going out in nature, traveling, anything in the arts are all things that can make us happy or we take pleasure in. This is what the planet Venus can represent. Someone has to keep the score. This is Venus in Virgo. Picture all of your relational encounters, whether it's friends or romantic interest, and behind every gesture, the other person is analyzing the quality, the time, the effort, the intention, the size, and the amount of that gesture. And based on that person's analysis, a gesture of equal value will be given. Someone hear this and say, that's fair. I give you what you give me. But what if I've given you stress? Or what if I've given you worry? What if I've only given you the bare minimum? What if I've only given you what I feel you deserve? What if I've given you my very best? Would it be wise to continue to match the energy although I'm unsatisfied, or move on to something or someone who gives me satisfaction? Here we have a placement that sees everything from a 50-50 perspective. But there is nowhere in the universe that measures love and care with a ruler. And when it comes to Venus, this is especially unacceptable. Venus is weak or debilitated when it's in the sign of Virgo. To understand why, let's first start with the ruling planet of Virgo, which is Mercury. Mercury is referenced as a intellectual, fast-moving, easily stimulated, but easily bored kind of planet. Virgo executes the energy of Mercury in a critical, practical, and even rigid way. Venus is referenced as a receiving, sensual, and romantic kind of planet. So it's clear that this combination has two different approaches to love. Since Venus and Virgo can operate with a give only as much as they give you attitude, the person with this combination can come off selfish, petty, and even judgmental. Subconsciously, the Venus and Virgo can have a dark energy about them, where they know something is wrong, or why their encounters with suitors are difficult or just not successful, but they cannot quite put their finger on it or fix it. Oftentimes, instead of taking the much needed time to self improve, a function of the sign of Virgo, the person continues to go in circles with the same tug of war relationships that have the same outcome. The self esteem of a Venus in Virgo is the first thing we must consider if a person with this placement is not having success in their love life. Do they love themselves? Or most importantly, as being 1/3 of the earth signs, do they know their worth? Secondly, if a person with Venus in Virgo does think well of themselves and act accordingly, Are they projecting their high expectations on the other person and criticizing them harshly if they fall short somewhere? And this is not to say that you should not have high expectations. It's really to bring awareness on what you do or how you receive someone who doesn't meet your expectations. The Venus in Virgo can sorely judge themselves, so they believe others are not exempt from receiving the same scrutiny. They can also only care about getting their needs met. Of course, this isn't an ideal way of treating partners, which is why formidable opponents or formidable suitors can be excellent for these people because they can divert the energy back to them and cause them to reflect on their own behavior. Also, Venus in Virgo tends to procrastinate, and if improved, it can really make positive changes in their life. Virgo rules the fine-tuning or improvements to society that make things not only work, but work well and efficiently. An evolved Venus in Virgo will still criticize, but it will be truthful, sometimes hurtful, but nonetheless to help improve the individual or society. But if the Venus in Virgo is uninvolved and has not worked on the betterment of themselves, they can spew pure hurtful opinions of the other person, which is really how they feel about themselves. Earth signs are clear in their expression of unhappiness. You just have to know how to spot it. The Venus in Virgo can stay in relationships that are unhealthy simply because there is still some exchange or engagement going on with the other person. With this combination, we can see a cycle of disagreements, resolving that specific disagreement, and doing the very same thing shortly after. Or maybe they are on the receiving end of accepting punishment, then a reward, then punishment, then a reward from their partners. I know so far it seems as if I have not had any positive things to say about Venus and Virgo, but understand that not every placement is great and everyone has somewhere to improve on or a lesson to learn. Continuing on, if you're looking for comfort through tangible things, Venus and Virgo are practical workers that can make much earnings in their life. They can be hard workers always wanting to produce the best to society. And yes, Venus and Virgo can have success in relationships if they learn to love themselves and treat themselves accordingly. And also to understand that not everyone is perfect and to work on not pointing out all the wrongs someone has or someone has done, and instead focus on the positive and not tally everything. Pulling from their opposite polarity to Pisces, Venus in Virgo has the powers to release any intimacy blockages in their partners. They can make suitors comfortable, but also have to be careful because, again, if we're dealing with an unevolved Venus in Virgo, they can be excessive in wanting physical pleasures and lose any soulful connections with partners for simple casual exchanges that are meaningless. And if not managed, this can really spiral out of control. So if Venus and Virgo can improve themselves before they work to improve everything else, be okay with the shortcomings of others, tap into the opposite polarity side of spirituality to help heal within, the same law of attraction will apply in the way poor behavior attracts poor behavior. Healed energy will attract healed energy. Lastly, I would like to mention the sixth house and Virgo being the ruler of this house. So your worth to others, how you make others feel secure, your service to others, and how you react to receiving service are all governed under this house and this sign. All is not lost. It will just take some time to find. Venus and Virgo. I would like to thank everyone for taking the time out to watch this presentation, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.